What's up? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I am going to share everything I know about manifesting. So I'm going to break down the sources of where I learned how to manifest, some practical examples, and then we'll show you exactly what to do and pretty much what not to do. So let's just crack it. First things first, where did I learn how to manifest? Well, there's lots of books out there. You might be aware of The Secret, like The Law of Attraction, maybe Neville Goddard's work. So essentially, the things that I've learned, which are mostly through my mentor, the main sources which he kind of compiled his wisdom from, what I've learned and implemented, is based off of the law of assumption from Neville Goddard, the power of awareness, asking it is given. David Hawkins' work, the power versus force, also levels of energy. What are some other ones? Joe Dispenza, if you ever read the book, Becoming Supernatural. So I'm just going to compile all this into just one, something you can watch in the next 10 to 15 minutes, because pretty much all of these books, not to mention religious texts and scriptures from thousands of years ago, they're all pointing towards the same thing. They're just using different language or ways of describing the same thing. And so practically in my life, I'll give you a few examples of how I've manifested things. So years ago, first example that comes to mind, I had just gotten back from Europe. And at the time, before I went to Europe, I was working a construction job. Long story, I ended up quitting and going to Croatia for a month and then Ukraine. Me and my old business partner decided to move back to Canada to start a business. And I had basically been living off of savings. And we moved into a fancy apartment. I was burning through cash, not to mention partying through Europe. And I was like, shit, dude, I need to make 10 grand in 7 days. I started reading the book Becoming Supernatural, and he kind of broke down these meditations to do. And then I was starting to do them. Long story short, 7 days later, boom, like magic, I had 10K in my bank account. And I did the same thing to me girlfriends throughout the years. Most recently, just this past week, I was like, you know what? I want to get a 10K client. And so I did the technique I'm going to walk you through. Literally the next day, I had a call with a guy. In my mind, I had the call. I already knew I had the call, but I'm like, I want the call to go like this. I'm going to imagine him saying, yes, I'm in. Cool. Here's 10K. Let's do it. Being super excited. And then the next day, it exactly happened. Boom, 10K in the bank account. And then basically the next day when I was at the gym, I was like, you know what? I want to make another 10K. Yep, 10K was cool. I want to make 20 from clients this month. And half an hour later, as I was leaving the gym, person texts me out of the blue on Instagram. They start complaining about this and that in their business. I'm like, hey, I can help with that. We start talking about it. A couple minutes later, it's like, how much? I'm like, yeah, so it's 12K if we split it up, or 10K if you pay in full. Boom. He's like, let's do it. 20K like that. And it all comes from this principle, this technique that I'm going to walk you through. Okay. So, first things first. Let's focus on number one, the fundamental. Let's start with some fundamentals. Okay. So if you watch my video, The Spiritual Laws of Selling, I broke down some of these laws, but the base fundamental rule is that everything is consciousness. Okay. So God is consciousness. We are consciousness. The world that we see is a form of consciousness. Okay. And so with that in mind, your entire reality is not random. It's not up to chance. You are directly influencing it all the time. The question is whether you're doing it consciously or unconsciously. Most of the time, we're doing it unconsciously. Okay. And so essentially what there's a few principles. So like, I'll start writing these out. Number one, everything is consciousness. Another way of saying this is the all is mind, which comes from the Kabbalion, the Hermetic principles. The all is mind. That's the first rule of reality. Okay. Next thing, you get what you think about. Okay. You become what you think about. You get what you think about. So I'm going to go in depth into this because this is really like the whole secret, but here's like the next one. So if you read the book Ask and It Is Given, essentially in that book, it's saying that our feelings, number one, are an indicator, however positive they are or negative they are, they're an indicator of how connected we are to the source. And you can call the source whatever you want. God, the universe, source. The higher the state we're in, the more we are like a vessel where we're not resisting that source, and it's constantly, its whole focus is to help us create whatever our desires are and turn them into our reality, so that we're expanding ourselves as a person, we're expanding the universe, we're expanding consciousness. That's the entire thing. So I'm going to tell you about the what would I call this? The guidance system of emotions, okay, and how to use this. Next one is that not only do you get what you think about, what's the best way to describe this? Your life is a reflection of your self-concept or self-image. So in other words, everything that you have right now is based largely off of what you choose to be true about you. In other words, what you believe in. Now, last principle here, might not be the last, but the biggest one after this is that you can only focus on one thing at a time. Okay. Well, duh, man. You get what you focus on. Okay. And essentially, to go back to the guidance system of emotions, what the book Ask and It Is Given basically says is that we have a constant source of like well-being energy, source energy flowing to us, which is creating our reality. Okay. And so that book uses the term desire, and so does Neville Goddard in The Power of Awareness. He uses like your desires are like the catalyst, which creates, the circumstances for the whatever reality you want to manifest to happen. Okay. So essentially here, first thing is like, okay, let's just go into some tactical stuff. Okay, so number one, let me just break down a mistake that you might be making right now. Okay. And so if you read the book Letting Go, for example, by David Hawkins, letting go is all about letting go of negative feelings and like raising your level of consciousness, your level of energy. Now, the thing is, there's the way to understand emotions are your emotions are a guidance system, right? So basically the way that they describe it, it's like if you're feeling negative, if you're feeling fearful or angry or pessimistic, or I mean, you name it, guilty, shameful, that's not something that you necessarily want to let go, but it is an indicator. Okay. So essentially what I would say is like, you don't want to just let go of your negative emotions, because they're in general a byproduct of what you're focusing on. Okay. So here's where most people screw up. Since we can only focus on one thing at a time, let's say, I'll just use my example, right? So we have path A and then we have path B, and they're both like, I want a 10K client. Okay. Path A is focusing on like the positive, like basically focusing on the positive, let's call it, aspects of having that client. How I will feel, what I will do, uh, we call it living that experience, embodying it. Okay, so it's not just about thinking things, but you literally have to feel like what Joe Dispenza says is that we pull the future into the current by focusing on the gratitude of having that thing, the enjoyment of having that thing, the appreciation, right? And that is what magnetizes it to us. Okay, but what most people do is they basically go and focus on the lack of, let's say, not having a 10K client. They focus on the lack of their desire. And then that in turn makes them feel worse. And they focus on why they maybe don't deserve a 10K client, or why they need the money, but in the negative, or like why they won't, like why they won't be able to do it, let's say not do it, but why they won't be able to get a 10K client. Okay. And so obviously, one of these ones, at least the universe, is it the best way to describe it, it's like a waiter at a restaurant. Universe is always asking you, hey, what do you want? And 1 second you might be like, you know what? I want a 10K client. It's going to be awesome. It's going to make me feel this way. I'm going to do this stuff with the money. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be helping people. It's going to be great. But then your logical mind goes, oh, but who's going to pay you that? Are they even going to pay? Should they do? Are you ready for that? Like you should charge less, or like you should just keep doing whatever it is you're doing. But this, but that, but this. That's like your logical mind. In other words, you're focusing your attention from positive to negative, and it's like going to the waiter and be like, hey, I want the steak. Oh, no, I want the pasta. You know what? No, I want the steak. Oh, no, wait, I want the chicken. And essentially the universe is like, well, what the fuck? Like, which one is it? And in general, you get what you predominantly focus on. Okay. With me so far? Okay, good. And so here's the thing. Your emotions, in general, that you're focusing on the right thing if you're feeling good, right? Like you're moving closer to the reality of having this experience that you want to manifest or become or do if you're feeling good about it. If you're feeling negative about it, that means you're focusing on the lack of it and therefore reinforcing that reality. That's just how it works. Okay. And so, really, there's a lot of stuff that we could go into, but just for like an easy practice, what my mentor told me to do is you want to visualize the end movie before you're going to bed. Okay. So when you're laying in bed, you think about whatever it is that you desire. And just as a caveat, there's a lot of spiritual stuff out there that says desire is bad. Well, yes and no. Desire is like our entire life is focused around desire. Right? It's like we're always moving towards something. If we had no desires, we would just be inert. We wouldn't do anything, right? So in a way, desire is what is propelling us through life. And so to try to remove it is asinine, right? Like there's if you're familiar with the book's Level of Energy, desire is like a low emotion, but that is it's not desire. It's that's more of like a craving or an addiction or like a compulsive need. This, like what I'm talking about, is not the same. Like desire is maybe not the best word for it, but there's like probably a better word for it. But it's like, regardless of whether it's good or bad, you get what you focus on, what you want, and what you are feeling in the moment. That's what creates, that's what basically gets reality to bend itself to what you want. Okay. So at night, when you're going to sleep, you start thinking of Okay, so like let's say me right now, I want to move to Costa Rica. Been there a few times. I love it. I want to wake up, go for a walk on the beach, have some fresh, fresh fruit, some jugos, uh, see a monkey or two on my morning walk, enjoy the sun, the friendly people, maybe catch some waves, go surfing or some shit like that. Okay, so basically, I'm going to visualize. Like I can close my eyes right now and visualize the exact apartment that I stayed in. I'm like, I can imagine waking up, opening my door, seeing my hammock, looking out. There's a pool down there. It's all lush. I can hear the birds, the monkeys. Like I look across the beach, the street. I see the beach. I imagine myself walking down the beach, and I'm feeling good. I'm like, man, this is awesome. Like this feels incredible, and I'm focusing on how good I feel in that environment, right? And that's basically it, right? The rest is just going to sleep already feeling as if basically feeling as if the wish is already fulfilled. And that's like the first half, or that's basically like half of the manifestation stuff. The other half is related more to your self-concept and self-image, and being very careful of the words that you use, right? And so, for example, it, whatever you say, like after I am, is a command, right? It's you're basically commanding your subconscious. You're commanding yourself to create to do this unconsciously, like like I'm sick and tired of blah 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 blah, you know, or I'm fucking broke, or like I like I'm super lonely, or whatever the thing is. Like you really really want to start talking. You want to be careful with your words, right? Because it's a difference between thinking things and saying them out loud. When it comes to manifesting and creating realities, it's like you speaking out loud has an astronomically higher, let's call it, rate of vibration than just thinking something, right? And so you want to be careful with the commands that you're giving yourself, even if you're just joking. So you always want to be talking about, man, I am powerful. I'm a champion. I'm a winner. I'm wealthy. I'm abundant. And even if you're not wealthy yet, I'm like, I am getting wealthier and wealthier every day. I'm getting happier every day. I'm getting healthier every single day. I'm getting younger. I feel better every single day. I can't wait to see how life is going to get better today. Right. And you always want to be talking in the affirmative. So that is another thing. Obviously, like if you're watching this, you're probably in sales or business or something like that. This is like the internal aspect of creating reality. There's obviously the yin and yang, like the external. This doesn't just mean that you don't do anything and you're just going to have stuff appear. That's rarely how it works. Like you generally still have to be taking action towards whatever it is you're doing, and you should probably set some type of plan about how you're going to move to Costa Rica and how you're going to get the client and how you're going to do this. But you also have to know that there's a bigger force out there that's going to support you and make it happen for you. Like this is the biggest belief that you can have about like life or the universe. Like, you know, like we live in a friendly universe, or like the universe is friendly. It wants you to win. God wants me to win. Life is always working out for me. I am the luckiest man in the universe. You want to be believing these things, right? Like, and guess what? What's, like it, think of it like, well, even if you don't believe this, it doesn't really, like, why would you want to believe in the opposite? You could say all this stuff is bullshit, but like, I'm just telling you it works. You don't have to do it. But anyway, so to go back to this, we have a few techniques like visualization and feeling the feeling of the wish fulfilled. specifically before sleeping. You can also do it like after a nap or just randomly. You can just try to continually feel the feeling of you having whatever it is that you want or you desire, right? You have that. You have it, affirmations and language, right? Always putting out what you want, who you want to be. And then we can call these just like your overall like global beliefs. Like, God wants me to win. Life is always working out for me. Life is always getting better for me. I'm the luckiest man in the universe. The universe is on my side. The source is not only a part of me, it is me. And it wants what I want. It wants, like, God has a bigger vision for you than you have for you. And all you have to do is stop resisting it. And resistance, this is resistance right here. This is allowing. Okay. So what we're really talking about is the art of allowing manifesting to happen. Whereas this is the art of resisting, manifestation, I guess. Whatever. I didn't really think of this ahead of time. And so I told you this is a very simple training. You can go a lot deeper in the stuff, I'm sure, if you really wanted to. But in terms of practical things to do, this is it. Save you a lot of time. You want to feel gratitude and appreciation and happiness and joy for the things that you want right now, to pull them to you. You want to use positive language. You want to use affirmations and have global beliefs that are helping you reinforce the reality, and then combining that with taking practical steps in the 3D world to make what you want a reality. And that's it. And so hopefully you enjoyed this training. If you like this, make sure you subscribe, drop a comment if you feel like it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.